YouTube. It's time to make an 18-month review of my 2012 Yamaha V-Star 950 Touring. My filming will not be worthy of what I think of this bike. It's a daily driver for me, 365 whenever I need to go. I sold my Xterra a couple of years ago to save money, put some money away in the college fund, and so ever since then we have one car family, and this is my mode of transportation. So if there's a couple of words I could use to describe this bike, right off the bat, the first ones would be good friend, and the second ones would be extremely capable motorcycle. It hits a sweet spot in a number of ways. Before I had this bike, I had a V-Star 250, which I extremely loved as well. The thing about the 250 was it just wasn't enough bike for the highway. It would get you there, but here in Houston it wouldn't get you out of trouble. And so the guys at Yamaha, I was considering several bikes, and they knew that it was a daily rider for me. They knew that I'm a little bit sensitive to gas mileage, and they knew I was in for regular service. So this bike here does all those things well. It gets 50 miles to the gallon. If I'm really hitting it, maybe 45, but in summertime gas, I've had some 60-mile-a-gallon tanks. So love the gas mileage. It's not going to get you off the line extremely fast. I would describe it as quick. But once you get into third gear, you've got a really good power band, and it has no trouble hitting it on the highway. Things around here move generally 75 to 85 miles an hour, and this 950 is no problem at those speeds, and you still have power band to pass and maneuver if you need it. So as far as a highway bike, extremely capable as well. Like I said, the mileage is 50 miles to the gallon most of the time, and the service on this thing is very reasonable. I'm fixing to have it in for my second service, 8,000 miles, and it's going to cost me about $300. But part of the reason that the pricing on the service is good is because of the way Yamaha built this motorcycle. This isn't so much a new feature anymore as it was a couple of years ago on a lot of bikes, but this bike is fuel injected, and the ethanol gas we're having these days is really hard on bikes that are ridden occasionally and have carburetors. Yamaha did a good thing with the fuel injection, and it's one feature that saves you money having to have carburetor work done. Another good thing they did, the price point on this bike is about $10,000, and I got the touring package, which gives you a lot more for the money. But the standard package is a nice ride too, and you can get into that for probably around mid-8s. The bike handles really well. It's low center of gravity, and it's belt drive. And the one thing I hated about the 250 was the constant chain maintenance, and you just don't have that on this bike. I really was interested in a bike with a shaft drive, but the guys at Yamaha told me that whenever you have to take that back tire off, it costs more. So this one has a belt drive, and the belt is constructed with Kevlar. They still haven't told me a range of belt life on this bike. They just keep saying don't worry about it. So, but that's a chink in the armor. There's all kinds of ways you can lose a belt that don't have to do with wear. But that's probably one of the downsides. But it's really smooth, and it's very quiet. You just don't have the noise, the mechanical noise with the belt drive. So that makes it a lot more pleasant at low speeds. The fenders, Yamaha likes to brag about their metal fenders, and they are nice. The fit and finish on this bike is really more than I expected. Of course, I garage it at night and I have covered parking at work, but overall the paint job is just phenomenal. The Yamaha pinstriping there around the tank kind of reminds me of the Chicago Bears logo, which I can live with. I like the Bears. Also, another point I was going to make, the chrome and polished parts on this bike are holding up really well. There's no corrosion, rusting, or pitting that I can see at all after 18 months. I do often have to ride in the rain, but I do take care of the bike as well, so I don't let it sit too long after getting rained on. I wanted to give you a better look at these saddlebags. These are hard bags, some kind of polymer, and Yamaha says they're leather covered, but I think it's some kind of pleather, but they're holding up really well. I use them a lot, and they're actually pretty roomy inside. Let me give you a better look. They're actually pretty roomy. They, I think Yamaha says they're 11 gallons. It's amazing what I can get in these bags. Of course, they lock, but as you can see, I wouldn't put my life savings in here and lock it away for any length of time. If you know anything about how they steal motorcycles, a couple of guys often come and pick them up and put them in a truck, and it's gone like that. So be careful what you lock in your bike. And the hinges, I had my doubts about them when I bought the bike, but actually they're holding up well. There's no wear, rips, or tear, and like I said, I use these bags every day. And another thing, a buddy of mine has a BMW, and when he puts his Pelican bags on his bike, it costs him a lot of gas mileage. And these, as far as I can tell, I don't know what my mileage would be if I took them off, but I use them, so they're not coming off. To give you a better look at the Yamaha wheels I was telling you about, and they're super easy to clean, and I think the outside is stainless steel, it looks like to me, and the inside seems to be powder coated and then painted. The tire, this bike came with Dunlops, and a lot of the bikes around here that the dealer I look at, they have Dunlops, and I got about 7,500 miles on those tires, and they, to me, I saw a little dry rotting in the seams. I think I had maybe 2,500 miles left on the tires, but I went ahead and changed them to these Michelin Commanders 2. A great tire. I like the tread pattern a little bit better. They seem to be a better high-speed tire, and they're 4-ply, and most motorcycle tires are 2-ply, so they're we'll see how long these last. I'm hoping 10 or 12,000 miles, but I'm kind of funny about tires, so I'll change them whenever they look bad. Here's a better look at the windshield on the bike. It's wide and gives you a pretty good bit of wind deflection. One of the quirky things I found about this bike is having to pull down my pant legs after being on the freeway, because the air does come up and hit you on the bottom of the legs, so I'm not sure if that's something I'll try to do a add-on for or not, but for right now I got pretty good wind protection. And the nacelle on the headlamp is all chromed out nice. The billet on the turn signals is really nice. Like I said, the overall fit and finish on this bike is a lot of value for the money, and I'm really pleased with it. Yamaha put a nice padded backrest on the sissy bar, and it's embossed with the Yamaha star emblem, which is really nice. I took the back seat off because I'm going to tie down a bedroll and a sleeping bag when I start doing some camping trips, and that gets it down closer to the top of the saddlebags, which I think will give me a better support of those items. And a buddy of mine redid my seat. He owns an upholstery shop, and so he recovered my seat and the top of my backrest, and I kind of like that. Soon here I'll be getting a solo seat with a backrest on it when I start making some of my trips, and then the seats come off real easy, so I'll just have this seat here when I'm wanting to be a little bit more sporty around town. I also put a gas tank bib on, which I think was a good idea to give protection to the tank from any kind of scratching, at least as much as I can cover. Something Yamaha did not put on this bike that I put on myself was this luggage rack, and no matter how you get around that, it's going to cost you a little bit. I got a Yamaha luggage rack. I actually had to wait a while for it too. They're not easy to get, at least at the dealer that I use, but it's made really well, and I'm into that for, I think, somewhere between $300 to $400. It does. It's worth it though, because I'll show in another video my Ridge Pack backpack that I strap on there, and between the saddlebags and that, I have just a lot of storage on the bike, which is important to me because I'm carrying stuff around all the time. I won't be taking home a refrigerator, but I did bring home a small microwave oven. So overall, giving up a car, you have some trade-offs. Just be sure you get a bike that has the capacity to carry enough stuff. And loaded down, this bike will, I can't even tell the extra weights on here. I'm sure I've packed it with 70 or 80 pounds, and between me and that, no effect to the power band that's detectable to me. So I recommend the luggage rack. All you Harley enthusiasts out there who are proud of your pipes, and believe me, I understand, but the really good thing about this bike that I wasn't expecting to do at all to it was the Cobra slash cut slip-on. Required no power commander, and I was up at the dealer one day having work done on my bike, and one of the guys came riding out on a 950 they were working on that had this pipe on there, simply so they could sell me one, which they promptly did. But with dealer installation, I'm not into this pipe more than $400. And if you're putting pipes on a Harley, you're $700 to $1,000 if you're buying new ones. So this pipe makes good rumble on the bike. It sets off car alarms at my office, so I like it a lot. It sounds good. The way the fuel injection on this bike works, it automatically adjusts itself to oxygen intake and temperature and altitude. So all they had to do was put this pipe on there, install it correctly, and it did not require additional electronics to the motor to make it work right. I put these Kawasaki Grips on there, which I really like a lot. They have several styles, and I know this one's kind of flaming and everything, but it's just the one that felt best in my hand. It gives me good feel on the throttle, and I like those a lot. I also put the cigarette lighter on there, and yes, I use it to light cigarettes, but I can put USB adapters in there and charge electronic gizmos as I'm going along if I need to. I put this Garmin Zumo on here, and I really like it a lot. One of the things I don't think I like about this bike is the tank mounted control console. I would rather have the information up on the handlebars more at eye level, and the good thing about the Zumo is it will tell me the time, how fast I'm going, where I'm at. It even tells you the speed limit on most of the roads you're on. So, and it talks to my helmet with Bluetooth, and it's a really good. There's a couple of things I can charge with the plug-in to my bike. Not too many. I have to use a cigarette lighter adapter for most things I use. But yeah, I highly recommend the Garmin Zumo. The downside is it would be easy to steal, so when I use it, I don't leave it on the bike. And a lot of videos I make, you'll see I have it, and some I won't be using it. It just depends on what I'm doing. This bike has, like I said, tank-mounted console, but it does give you a pretty good bit of information. It's got 3 trip meters on it. I use 1 trip meter for gasoline to kind of tell me how many miles I'm at on the last tank. It does have a light that tells you when you're down to, I think, roughly a gallon or so, and then the trip meter, whatever one you're on, automatically converts to tell you you're on reserve tank, and it tells you how many miles you've gone on reserve tank. So, but I generally try to not get down to the reserve tank. When I get 160 miles on trip meter, I try to fill up. The second trip meter I use to kind of help me tell me when I want to get an oil change, and the third one is the overall odometer and tells you how many total miles on the bike. I'm right at about 8,200 miles. Can't even tell it. The bike, I do have it maintained at the Yamaha place, and I feel lucky because the serviceman there is ranked the second best Yamaha mechanic, I think, in the country, if not the world. But anyway, he's very capable and always does a good job. And let's see, it has a check engine light, a heating light, turn signal light, and for the money, this bike also has self-canceling turn signals, which I think is a big plus, especially with the turn signal light being mounted down on the gas tank where you can't see it. I don't like the gas cap. I wished it had a gas cap that was built into the tank, because you have to take them off. Particular about where I set it down, because I don't want to get dirt in my gas tank. But it's pretty. But Yamaha, I'd put a recessed gas cover on here. The tank holds about 4.5 gallons. So I think my total range would be, I wouldn't go too much over 200 miles on a tank. But still, that's good. For this bike, the mileage, the size of the tank, that's pretty good rundown. You're going to be wanting to stop for gas after 200 miles. Again, the bike is fuel injected, so let me show you what happens here when you flip the key. Yeah, I like this bike. Like I mentioned earlier, the bike has great chrome. They even put billet handlebar connectors on here. There's no pitting or corrosion in the handlebars, which, bikes start getting older, you start seeing some of the wear and tear. But this bike, I'd like to think I'm taking care of it, but I also think the bike was made to take a little bit of punishment. Here's a look at the business end of the bike. Probably one thing, I didn't really like it on my 250 either. Yamaha could use a little bit of inspiration, or I don't know if that's the word. I see what they were trying to do here with this air box, and it's big, and I would change it, but like I said, I'm on the road in the rain a lot, and when I look at some of these air boxes that are aftermarket, to me, I just think I might be sucking water into my motor. And the one thing I will say about Yamaha air boxes, there's no water getting in there when it's raining, and it seems to be big enough that I think it provides a good amount of oxygen to the motor. I might be able to get a couple of more horsepower if I change it out, but really the bike doesn't need it. That's another thing, by the way, you might have to look at changing when you do pipes on a lot of bikes. And like I say, it only cost me less than $400 to upgrade my exhaust on this bike, and I just view that as a huge plus. So another thing that I didn't like about the bike, and you won't like it about most motorcycles, is the horn that the manufacturers put on there. It's obviously something they all do to try to save a few bucks, and if you're going to be on the road, put a good horn on your bike. I actually was able to put this PA air horn on my bike for probably less than $50, and it just makes a huge difference. That means get the fuck out of my way. Or please move your car. The light's green, but it could also save your life. You just really got to have a good horn on a bike, because for some reason people don't see you coming. I don't have a lot of trouble from behind, but you know, crossroads and whatever, not only do I anticipate a problem, but I want to have a little bit of something people can hear if I see a potential problem. So that about sums it up, and I'm sure I forgot something, but you know, if you want to leave comments or ask questions, I'll be happy to fill you in. Like I said, overall for the money, I had a couple of criteria. I didn't want to spend more than $10,000. And when you start looking at bikes under $10,000, this bike has a lot of value for the money, especially comparing it to a Harley. And mine turns heads, so I'm not at all least bit ashamed of it. In fact, I don't think I could trade it for a Harley. I like it that much. And I know you get the coats, you get the shirts, you get all that stuff Harley. But I tell you what, with this Yamaha, you get a damn good bike at a damn good price. And I think you'll like it. I know I like mine. So anyway, that's my 18-month review. Usually when you drive something 18 months, you kind of know if you want to keep it or not. I never get on this bike and think, oh man, I need to sell it and get a bigger one. I recently went to the Lone Star Rally. I rode down the highway with a bunch of high-end Harleys and crotch rockets, and although I won't be making any Ghost Rider YouTube videos, this bike will get up and go, and it'll get you where you need to go, and it'll start up every time as long as you take care of it. So anyway, thanks a lot. One last thing I almost forgot to show you. When I really want to carry some stuff, I slap on this Ridge Pack, which is really awesome backpack made for motorcycles. Has tons of clips and places to tie down. Everything expands. It comes with a rain fly, and it'll carry a load of stuff. So that's between that and the saddlebags, you'd be amazed at what I can bring home on this Yamaha, and I'm gonna make a video about that pretty soon. Anyway, thanks for coming by to visit, and hope this video is helpful, especially to anybody who's considering biking it for a while and as they say, dumping the cage. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it.